Have you ever wondered why you keep dating the same guy with a different face over and over again? And are you ready to finally heal and move on from toxic relationships completely? Then this video is for you. Hi guys, my name is Kristin, and today I am sharing with you my signature rapid transformation process for rapid healing and transformation in your life. If you are as excited as I am about that, go ahead and hit the like button right now. And if you are a woman on the journey to be your best, most powerful self and have healthy and happy relationships, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell so you can get notified when I drop new videos every single week. Now, this topic is something that is near and dear to my heart because these are things that I had to overcome in my own life. And now I help women all over the world do the same thing through my private coaching and courses. So let's get right into it. Trauma. Ooh, that word. Now I know that trauma can carry a really big stigma. I mean, just saying it, it's a heavy word, right? You feel that heaviness inside of you. And when we first say that word trauma, we tend to think of things like physical violence, sexual violence, some really horrific things. And while yes, those things are definitely trauma, it's not the only trauma. See, trauma happens for all of us. If you are a human being, if you are walking around on this planet right now or sitting, whatever you're doing, I can assure you that you have experienced trauma in your life, especially if you are somebody who is coming out of toxic relationships, right? We don't just come into that for no reason. And that's what I really want you to understand today is that if you're finding yourself in a pattern of toxic relationships, or even in just one toxic relationship, there is an underlying reason for that. And it is typically unresolved childhood trauma. So to be able to heal the past, we actually need to heal some childhood trauma. And now before you sit there and tell me that you had an amazing childhood and your parents were fabulous and everything was all great, I'm not saying that that is not true. But like I said, trauma is just a part of life. You know, there's nothing that you can do to prevent this. Even the most conscious, amazing parents in the world are going to inflict some kind of emotional trauma because trauma occurs any time where you feel unsafe mentally, emotionally, physically, or even spiritually. And what I want you to understand is that the experiences that you have in your life, and then what you begin to believe as a result of those experiences will influence every single aspect of your life, especially relationships, until you begin to resolve the root cause and heal those issues. An example of that would be, let's say in your household growing up, you were told that you were overly emotional and you learned through that you were not allowed to safely process your emotions. You were told to stop crying, to get over it, things like that are pretty common growing up, right? If you were told things like this, what begins to happen inside of you is that you learn to deny your own reality. You learn to deny your feelings. And if that's the case, then it would make sense that because you are used to that, because that is your baseline, that when you start to get into romantic relationships, romantic partnerships, that you would get into a relationship that you also have to deny your reality. Maybe it isn't safe to show your feelings. You can't be vulnerable. Maybe it isn't safe to speak what you really want to say. And it's not that you want those things, but it's that is what is familiar to you. And your mind, your subconscious mind, is always going to go to what is familiar. Now, of course, there are people that went through much worse things than that, but we're not comparing trauma here. It's not a game to see who's been more traumatized in their life. The goal is healing. And I really want you to know that no matter what you have been through, you can heal, you can move on, and you can absolutely be better than you were before. And when it comes in terms of relationships, you absolutely can break the cycle of toxic relationships in your life. Now, if this sounds familiar to you in any way, if you can relate to this at all, if you are picking up what I am putting down, go ahead, give me a comment. Let me know how this is relating to you right now. Okay, so now that you know maybe a little bit more about the root cause, and you can definitely start to inquire what is the root cause of your issues within yourself, I'm going to go over the rapid transformation process and how to utilize it to be able to forever release this, reconnect who you truly are, and reprogram your mind and your body so that you don't ever have to experience that again. I created the rapid transformation process out of necessity in my own life. I was doing all of the personal development. I was doing all of the things that I should be doing to heal. And I just didn't feel like anything was really working. I tried so hard to be positive. I was trying so hard to love myself. And a lot of the things that we hear will help us to heal. It just wasn't working for me. So this is a necessity, and I have been able to use this not only in my own life, but able to help heal people all over the world with this process. So the rapid transformation process is a 3-step process that will absolutely change your life. So step 1 is release. Now, this is actually, to me, the most important step, and it's the step that most people miss on their healing journey because we automatically just want to go to the positive thing. We just want to feel good. We want to do all of this stuff to feel really, really good, right? And we want to skip sort of this ugly, messy release thing because release requires us to look at the things that are actually holding us back. It requires self-awareness as to what your beliefs are, as to what that trauma that you experienced is. Now, especially when it comes to relationships, release is so important because if you don't release the trauma and the beliefs that got you into the toxic pattern in the first place, you are not going to be able to break it. So trust me when I say that release is imperative. Now, working with somebody like me who does a lot of subconscious reprogramming, we do a lot of the releasing through things like transformational hypnotherapy and other techniques that get into the subconscious to release. If you're not in a position where you can get into that subconscious work to be able to release it, you want to just start looking at your reality. You want to take a really big picture of what is going on, what is in your life, what have your relationships been like, and you want to get really real with yourself. Honestly, take an honest look at your reality. Once you get really clear on that, and you can see what you're not happy with, what you're not satisfied with, what is not working, well, that would be the clue of the areas where you really need to start releasing. Now, you can look at the things that have happened in your life and say, if this is happening in my life, what must I believe? When it comes to toxic relationships, if you are in a toxic relationship, at least a part of you believes that's what you are worthy of. And we want to do the release work. We want to start there. We want to release the idea of that's what you are worthy of, right? We want to look at where that idea came from and release everything around that. Step 2 is to reconnect. Reconnect to the truth of who you really are. Reconnect to your body. Reconnect to your power. This is so huge because oftentimes when we are in that cycle of toxic relationships, when we're in that cycle of giving ourselves away and giving our power away, we've forgotten who we truly are. We have forgotten that we are just worthy beings, that we are inherently worthy, that we are capable of anything, that limitations don't exist. We forget these things when we get caught up in toxic relationships, when we get caught up in people pleasing and just being who we are not. So the reconnection process really needs to start with asking yourself, what do I truly want? And that is such a powerful question, one that most people never take the time to answer. Because when you can reconnect to what it is that you truly want, we are one step closer to you being able to actually have that. And step 3 is to reprogram. Now, once we've done that release, once we've reconnected to what it is that you really want, we have to reprogram your mind to be able to say, yeah, this is possible for me. Yes, I am worthy of this. And not only am I worthy of this, but this is what I am going to have in my life. Reprogramming is so powerful, especially when we can work in the subconscious mind to do it on a subconscious level. If you're not able to do that, you can absolutely work with affirmations and things that can get you to get into that more positive space, get you into the space of believing that you are worthy of more, believing that you deserve what it is that you want, believing that you are the person capable of getting those things, of being that person, because there is nothing more important than who you are being. And that is really the whole point of this. If you have been in that cycle of toxic relationships, you have been someone who believes that's what you are worthy of. You have been someone who accepted that in your life. You have been someone who had some sense of normalcy or familiarity with that. And your job now in reprogramming is to take what has been familiar in your life and push it away so it is completely unfamiliar, so that you can open yourself up to a new way. And when you consciously choose a new way, you can form a new neural connection in your brain. And the more that you choose that new way, the more solidified that connection is going to be. And that is how you change your life. Little by little, a little becomes a whole lot. Now, that is a quick overview of the rapid transformation process. If you want a more in-depth view, I go over this entire process, how to utilize it in your life in my book, The Call to Rise, A Guide to Healing and Becoming the Powerful Woman You Are Meant to Be. That is available on Amazon. I will go ahead and link it below. If you found value out of this video and you know somebody else will too, I ask that you please share it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and keep on the lookout for new videos every single week.